Wondering if your device supports the Mixed Reality Toolkit? Well, I have great news. The Mixed Reality Toolkit has cross-platform support. So what that means is that you're pretty flexible with regards to which device you could actually use. Now, beyond the HoloLens and the HoloLens 2, you can deploy projects that make use of the Mixed Reality Toolkit to a variety of devices, which include the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, Oculus Quest, Android and iOS devices, as well as the Leap Motion by Ultraleap.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'll be going through the Imersian platform today for you, and we'll be going through some of the feature sets that we've implemented into Imersian, show you how we can upload 3D assets that you've already built into the Imersian platform, how you can manage all the different 3D assets on our online portal, and also how to publish and streamline the integration into different websites and view your objects in augmented reality and really design spaces by placing multiple objects in augmented reality. So let's get started. So here's a quick link to access the Imersian portal. Portal.imersian.com would essentially bring you to our login page. And here you can see you can clean interface to sign in or sign up to. If you already have an account, feel free to sign in. If you don't, just click on the sign up button on the bottom, which will allow you to sign up to a platform. So you can just provide your full name, your email address, and your password to sign up. So once you've signed up, you'll get an email which you can refer back to with a verification link. So I'm just opening my email client to check my email to verify the link. Occasionally, these could be in the spam folder, so please make sure to check that as well. But once you've checked your fund are confirmed, you can then go ahead and log in with those account details. Alternatively, if you would like to sign up using some of the accounts like the Facebook account and Google account, we support those features as well. And we may add certain other providers in the future. So once you sign in for the first time, you'll be greeted with an onboarding form. It's just to make sure that we provide services that's geared towards your specific industry needs and your use cases. You can provide a range of different industries in case you don't have any, or in case you don't have an industry that you belong to that's not listed here. Please feel free to reach out, and we're happy to add these features in. So I'm just going to select furniture and homeware because in this demo, I'm just going to showcase some furniture and homeware examples. Is this for business use? Let's say yes. In terms of organization, please feel free to fill these out. Your organization details if you're signing up for a company. If not, please feel free to skip through this. Except for the city and and finally, just if you want to check some of these items, feel free to do that as well. And just click on Let's Go to get your account ready. So now that we have our account set up, this is your welcome screen. This is basically your dashboard to accessing all Imersian's different feature sets. So we've categorized them into 4 primary categories. You've got the creation, which has a range of different services which we'll be adding to in the future as well, which deals with all 3D creation aspects and onboarding 3D assets onto the Imersian platform. You've got the management tab, which allows you to manage all these 3D assets in a single cohesive format. You've got the integration, which is integrating your 3D assets into your websites and different channels. And finally, the analyze tab, which is to deal with the analytics around how your 3D models are being interacted with your potential clients, customers, or visitors on your website. We also have a wiki just on our homepage, which redirects you to our main wiki page, which consists of all the information around the best practices on using the platform, including to get started with the Imersian portal, a few tips and recommendations on how to export objects and the recommended file sizes, for example, a few guides on how to export with GLTF on multiple 3D softwares, and a guide to even uploading 3D models in a step-by-step process, which I'll be running through today with you. We also have our feedback form, which is incredibly valuable for us to make sure that we're providing a product that actually serves your needs. And I would appreciate anyone and everyone to please fill this out and give us all your feedback that you can to help us build a better product for you. Now, switching back over to our portal. There's also the settings where you can go into the account settings and be able to invite different users into your account. This is currently a pro feature, which enables intra company communication or collaboration on your different 3D assets, so that multiple people can upload 3D assets or access them and read them. To show how it works, I could potentially just send an invite through to Supun. And I can make him an admin as well. And just click on tick. So it's that simple to invite different users. And Spoon should receive an email with a verification link where he can click on it and sign up to the account. And then we both will have a shared access to the same objects within the Imersian platform. In order to create 3D assets, there's a couple of current features that we have. One is to request 3D model creation. which allows you to request 3D model creation through our network of 3D artists and agencies. So at the moment, it is currently very geared towards furniture retail, but we're trying to expand this to provide for a range of different industries. Um, so when you click on Create 3D Request, you can give an indicative amount of how many assets you would require for your organization to create 3D assets. And once you've selected it, it's as simple as just clicking on Submit. And then one of our team members will get in touch with you and uh, for a more detailed breakdown of what's involved in building the 3D assets and providing some quotes around it as well. With Create, the second option of Create, where we can upload our own 3D assets, is also as pretty straightforward, where you can click on Upload 3D models. Once you're in this space, you can either drag and drop certain models into your uploader. I'm just opening up a file directory that I can use. So I'm sharing my screen to show you that I have already gone ahead and exported a chair from Blender as a GLTF file. And when you export as GLTF, the best practice to do so would be to separate them into different file formats. So you've got the GLTF file and the associated bin file and the different texture files. So the GLTF file, so they're all interlinked, and all the information about the links are contained within the GLTF file. The information about the geometry itself and the geometry data is contained within the bin file, and the texture files are quite self-explanatory, where they are applied on an object to make it look realistic. But once you have your different file formats, you can select all of them and drag them into your upload space. And depending on how big your model size is up, it'll upload them onto the Imersian cloud portal. It is recommended to use less than, ideally keep your model sizes less than 20 megabytes to improve delivery processes, especially when the end users are trying to view them in augmented reality. But once your model is loaded, you'll notice that we've got a Imersian XR viewer, which allows us to easily pan around and view your object, scroll through it. You can see a series of different object and scene properties on your left-hand side, which allows you to really customize and set up your 3D assets for publishing online. So to begin with, I'll just provide some names for the objects. So the chair, let's say the SKU is CHR 2001. So you can bring in your SKU numbers based on if you are an e-commerce outlet, associate the SKU values to those SKU values that you use on your for your product catalog. In terms of category, I would say it belongs in the dining space. So the categories help organize your objects and be able to retrieve them easily, especially when you reach like 1,000 different models on the Imersian platform and be able to quickly find and sift through them on the management tab. Variants we will go through after going through the object properties first. So with the object properties, you'll notice that there's a range of arbitrary values or names here. So these names are usually associated with the original export that was done from this 3D software that you're using. And this could vary and change. Ideally, you want to name your objects appropriately when you export it. But when you select an object, basically it's box 1A3 represents this mesh object or a polygon within this model. And now I can select that and really manipulate that to create different textures, different effects, and start making a few variations to your objects. So let's say I don't want this to be a gray, dull chair. I can go switch over to a different color. I can apply a roughness to it so it gets rid of the shine and the reflection that it had. And don't want it to be metallic, so I've left it to be 0. And that's just the final change I want to make with this object. So that's an object that I'm happy to publish. With the UI though, I feel like it is a bit too bright, so I might just reduce the intensity of the light brightness to be a bit more realistic. You can also adjust the environment lighting to make sure the environment is not too bright either. Alternatively, you can also use our HDR scenes, which is really recommended for metallic objects. So in case you do use HDR, I would be sure to turn every other lighting off. But since I was quite happy with the previous lighting situation, I'll just go control that instead. You can also adjust the colors of the environment lighting and the direct lighting. Beyond that, with the object itself, we are planning on adding a few more feature sets to our controls to how you control your objects. So beyond metallic and roughness, we're looking at transparencies. We're looking to add sheen. We're looking to add various different attributes that's involved within 3D modeling realm. So be sure to check it out when we do release it. With annotations, we have an interesting feature. I'm just going to go deselect this first because those yellow lines were bothering me. But with annotations, it's quite straightforward to create annotations if you would like to. So annotations are basically texts within your 3D space that you can leave notes on for your end users to view. So to create an annotation, you can pretty much just double click on an object and have a text written down for it. So I would say for the material, let's say maple finish. I just press OK. I can go double click and say available colors. Just press OK. So you can add as many annotations as you would require to communicate your product effectively to your end clients. But once you're happy with your product and the way it looks, you can go click on default position to find the default position of your camera. Or you can just select your own favorite position that you would like, and click on Create Thumbnail. So what this does is it generates a thumbnail preview that you can see right on top um, to um, to visualize your object when people switch through variants. But once you create a thumbnail, you can, if you choose to, you can also use the platform to get some snapshots of the object directly and save them as um, a image, and that you can potentially use to share and for your product images. Now, once you're happy with the product and you've created your default positions and thumbnails, you can go ahead and click Save. So Save essentially saves it to all your changes to the Imersian portal and the cloud. And after clicking on Save, you can go ahead and publish it. So publishing essentially publishes it to the web. If you already integrated or gone through the integration process, this and your SKU numbers are appropriately aligned, it'll streamline the publishing process for you and update your product catalog or your website directly with the updated 3D assets. But yeah, once you have your model published, you will see a QR code which you can use to make sure, scan and make sure that it looks well in your environment. So it's AR ready right now. Or you can also click on the link right next to it, which allows you to view your object in our 3D viewer. So now with the annotations, if I click on it, it automatically reorients the camera to the location of the annotations. Similarly with number 2. So it's quite a engaging and a dynamic way of interacting with your 3D objects, but also provide a lot more information about the product or the 3D work that you are sharing. You can also scan this to view it in your space, which if you have a mobile phone that supports it, you can do so. But once it's published, that's one variant that's ready. Now I'd like to go through creating different variants. So there's a couple of ways of creating variants. One is to copy your existing or the variant that you currently have as a different variant. Or you can also upload a different variant if you have geometric changes to your objects. So I've just gone ahead and clicked on copy to new variant, which creates an exact replica of your previous original object. Now I can go ahead and say, okay, since we do have them in different base colors, we can go ahead and change them and make it some different wild or not so wild colors. And the process is pretty much the same. You change the textures, you can change your lighting conditions if you require for each individual object or each individual variant. And just click on Save. Which will synchronize it. Make sure to create the thumbnail to visualize the variants, and then click on Publish. And you can click on that button there, which allows you to now, the thumbnails probably are starting to make sense to you now. The thumbnails help create these visualizations to switch between the different variants very easily. So now, as you can see, you can flick through the different models and be able to also view them in your space. With with creating different variants, we are also currently exploring different ways of making this streamlined. So potentially looking at, we're, as I said, looking to add more features into our product. Um, and I haven't mentioned this yet, but our product is still in a early stage beta. And we would love your feedback on how exactly to push and develop this product in collaboration with everyone who uses our product. So there's a few things that we're exploring, like bulk importing multiple models and variants into our platform to make it a streamlined way to publish assets. But once you've created that, like I'll go through another potential model that I can share with you, which would be a table. So I've also gone ahead and exported a table for us so we can really start populating our portal or our account with multiple 3D objects. So I've gone ahead and created a table for us, which already has some textures built into it. Now I can go ahead and I'm quite happy with it, the way it looks. I had already organized the lighting conditions directly on Blender, or if you choose to do it on a 3D software, you can. So if everything has been set up in your 3D modeling software appropriately, you won't really need to manipulate or adjust any of the object properties. You can just straight ahead go and click on create thumbnail and publish your assets. Except you don't need to provide a name for it. So I'm just going to go table and go TBL001 and click on save, publish. Once it's published, again, same process where you can visualize it in 3D. Might just go ahead and show you an example of how create a new variant and how you can change textures of the object itself. So with the tabletop, let's say we have multiple variants of this table in different finishes. I can see all my finishes that I've set up here as different variants. Now, once I've created my variant, I can select the tabletop, go into upload a texture. I'll just go to that file folder and select the appropriate texture for that tabletop. Now, once I've clicked on that, you'll notice that the tabletop's texture has changed. And I can also adjust some sliders around this. If you think it's going to be metallic, you can give it a metallic factor to it. But I'm quite happy with how it looks. So it is pretty much that straightforward to create or change textures for your 3D assets. So once you've, again, done that, you can go click on default, just choose some more better angle, and just create a thumbnail. And go ahead and publish the objects. Now, previewing it, you can see I've got my two different variations. And now I would like to show you how to use the management portal, which is a good segue into it. So in the Manage tab, all the uploads you'll be able to access the uploads and be able to have a good overview on all your different assets that you uploaded on the 3D platform, on the Imersian platform. And it's a similar process where if you click on the 3D on the image, it'll open up the viewer. But if you wanted to make some edits and you want to reconsider some lighting conditions or the material properties, you can click on the edit button just on the bottom and be able to quickly um, go back into the previous editor and be able to edit those settings again. Let's say we've lost this variant. We no longer sell this variant. For example, I can just select it and go delete the variant. And that way you can update your models. For that purpose, you don't need to publish. It's just a simple matter of deleting it. Beyond that, within the interface and the management portal, you'll notice a few things. One is some filters that allows you to filter objects based on their status, like if they're published, if they're still in a draft, or if they're still pending a review. Pending review is especially useful when you're using external third parties for 3D creation, or you're using Imersian's suite of 3D creators, and it allows 3D creators to directly upload assets onto this platform and for you to review them and be able to approve or request revisions depending on the type of 3D asset that you requested. With categories, you can, again, go ahead and filter these objects by categories. We are adding a few more filtration features to make it a bit more streamlined to categorize them. You'll notice that currently it is more focused on furniture because initially when we signed up and onboarded, we selected furniture retail. So we are creating multiple category sections for each different industry and purpose to improve or provide a more personalized experience for the particular needs. You can also search for objects if you know the name that you provided them. You can also sort them as you would like. And all the main features like the create, manage, integration, and analyze can be accessed from the top bar up here. There's also a quick way of uploading assets where you can click on upload, which takes you directly to the upload page. And that summarizes the create and manage tab. With the integration, as I previously mentioned, we are in early beta. And with integration currently, we are doing it at request. So you reach out to our team and we will help integrate the assets to your portals directly. And it's currently a face-to-face process like that. But going forward, we're building integration features which allows you to streamline integrations directly to your different e-commerce platforms or your websites. We provide a JavaScript library which allows you to integrate, which allows that streamlined process. We are also building various integrations and plugins to e-commerce platforms like Shopify, WooCommerce, Salesforce, Commercial Cloud, etc. So if you serve your products using any of those platforms, be sure to check it out because that'll be make life a lot more easier for a seamless transition into creating 3D assets for your website. In terms of how it exactly looks as an end user, you can visit one of our clients' websites called Crust. They've used a iframe method of integration to integrate the different objects into their website. Let me just clear some of my tabs. So analysis will be live by the end of this year, where you can start analyzing your 3D objects and looking at performance metrics around how the 3D objects are being uh, used and how users are interacting, how much time they're spending, um, and what's the conversion rates potentially. In addition, I'd like to walk you through Space Designer. So Space Designer is a patented technology that we recently built, which allows you to create multiple packages or collections of different 3D assets into your own private collection that you can then refer back to and view them in your own space directly from a browser without having to install any apps. So it's going to be a really big game changer for web-based augmented reality and being able to really interact and design and truly make some engaging experiences for users. So you've noticed this interface is quite different from the interface in here. Except I think Supun's gone ahead and enabled the Space Designer for me. Thanks, Supun. So with Space Designer, the way it works is you can just notice that we've got a new button up top called Add to Collection. So just clicking on that adds your current object to the collection. I'll demonstrate how it works here as well with a couple more products. So as soon as you open the page, it shows you can add to collection and then open it in our Space Designer. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this to collection as well. And then go ahead, you can see the numbers updated with 2 objects. So the Space Designer is basically where all your different objects that you've collected can be visualized or as a set of different objects in your 3D view. Now, what this allows me to do is scan this QR code, which will open up your phone it'll open up a browser on your phone, your default browser, and you can basically really design your space directly from there. So as soon as you scan your phone, you can click on Design Your Space. If it's an iOS device, you can select the number of objects that you want to place or design in your space. So, for example, if you have this table and you have the chair, you can increase the number of items on your chair to maybe 3 or 4 if you want to create a dining space. And click on Design Your Space, which will reroute you to the AR viewer, which allows you to place all the objects and interact with them directly. This currently is a Pro feature and only available for Pro and Enterprise customers. But anyone who is watching this session can get access to our Pro features today. Beyond this, with Android, the interface would be slightly nuanced, where we're using WebXR technology to serve the Space Designer. So with WebXR, you don't need to pre-select any objects. You can place objects dynamically in your AR space and place as many or as little objects as you would want. And that pretty much summarizes the Imersian platform and its core functionalities. We are obviously looking to integrate heaps of new features onto our platform. Again, we are early beta, and we are really excited to be building a platform that actually helps improve and streamline processes for online 3D and AR activities. But thank you for joining in this session. Um, and unless Supun, you have anything to add, I might just call it there.
Just one more thing to add, and the our platform support animations as well. So if you have animations, you can upload them directly. And if you don't have GLTF files, but if you have other file types like FBX or OBJ, you can upload them directly to Portal as well. Then our platform um, can convert them to GLTF and publish to augmented reality formats like GLB or USDZ and USDZ.
Great. Thanks, Supun. So yeah, we're trying to as Supun's also insinuated, like we're really trying to build a platform that makes it super simple to use. Like we don't want people who are using our platform to worry about file conversions. We want to do that for you in our backend, and we have processes in place which helps converts multiple objects um, into the appropriate AR file formats. Um, and we're actively working on. If I switch back to our upload page, you can see we're actively working on including as many formats as we can and be able to truly use this as a 3D asset management solution where you can provide as many 3D assets as you want or any file formats that you want to store and be able to use our platform to organize your 3D files to really help 3D artists as well to ensure that they're not creating duplicates and to clean up your file directories a bit as well. Beyond this, we are also looking at how we can start reutilizing texture files as well and be able to create a texture library to for each account. But a lot of this is going to be driven by feedback and your demands. So please do reach out and ensure to provide any feedback you can on our feedback page that you can find in our wiki. And that pretty much wraps up the Imersian platform. And I hope you guys found this information useful and I hope to hear from you very quickly. But thank you.